It's lovely to be here and to see all you guys out here interested in how we extract roots and why and what they're useful for. So I just want to start by reading a short, some research that I did on the roots to give you an explanation of what they're for. Cannabis sativa has been found to contain over 420 different chemicals, compounds, including more than 60 cannabinoids. Cannabinoid chemistry is far more complex than just THC. Varying effects may be due to the presence of additional cannabinoids and other chemicals. 18 different classes of chemicals, including nitrogenous compounds, amino acids, hydrocarbons, carbohydrates, terpenes, and simple fatty acids contribute to the mix. The history of cannabis roots dates back to 2700 BC. Mentions that cannabis root was dried and ground and formed into a paste and used to reduce pain, heal broken bones, and recover from surgical wounds. It was also crushed to extract the fresh juice or boiled to make a decoction and used as a diuretic and antihemorrhagic to stop bleeding and to ease difficult childbirth, to reduce pain and swelling from bruises and scrapes and broken bones. In Roman times, cannabis root would be boiled in water to make a preparation that relieved joint cramps, gout, and acute pain. The raw root would be applied directly to burns to reduce pain and blistering. The Roman physician Dioscorides attested to use of boiled cannabis roots and poultices to treat inflammation, gouts, and twisted sinews, whatever that means. The Greek medical writer Oribasis wrote that the dry root could also be applied to the eruption of skin, such as cysts, and when mixed in equal quantities with pigeon droppings, was good for acne. In the early 18th century in England, cannabis roots would be mixed with barley flour and applied as a poultice. In the 20th century, American physicians would recommend a decoction of hemp root to treat inflammation. So the roots are primarily composed of sugars and lipids and low levels of terpenes and alkaloids, and these are the things we have to watch out for. Various compounds have been isolated. In 1971, an ethanol extract of the hemp root was found to have the terpene fridolin and epifridinol and several ketones. Fridolin is thought to have liver-protecting and antioxidant effects. Epifridinol has been demonstrated to have anti-tumor effects. And the ketones are thought to cause apoptosis, which is death, in cancer cells, as well as reduce inflammation, pain, bacterial inflammation, and possessing diuretic and immunomodulatory properties. The roots of the cannabis have also found to contain choline and atropine in small quantities. Choline is an essential dietary nutrient that is thought to be crucial in the maintenance of healthy cell membranes. Post-menopausal women are extremely likely to be deficient in choline, meaning that hemp root tea consumed orally may provide some benefits. Atropine is used by doctors to dilate the pupil and relax eye muscles. It aids in bronchodilation and is used to increase the heart rate. Several alkaloids that may be of medicinal value have been identified in the cannabis roots. Alkaloids such as piperidine and pyrrolidine have both been found in the roots. These alkaloids can be toxic in high doses, but in smaller doses have been found to have various medicinal benefits. So we have some cautions because there are alkaloids and glucosides can have powerful effects on the body. They can irritate mucous membranes and their detoxification properties may be taxing on compromised livers. So the roots can be juiced, they can be dried and pulverized in order to apply to wounds, boiled to apply the resulting tea to wounds, or further boiled into a sticky resin, or boiled in oil, as I'm doing here today. So the use that I have found in the process that I use of boiling them in oil is that I use them topical for pain, arthritis and muscle pain, redness and swelling, to alleviate gout. I've also used them on burns to stop blisters from forming, reduce swelling and pain, and as an anti-inflammatory in acne, skin inflammation, insect bites, also as an antiseptic for wounds, scrapes, and acne, bruising, and bites. So yesterday I started boiling these roots. Ooh, there's another tool here. So these roots have been boiled for about 24 hours in oil, and my choice of oil this time was castor oil, and sometimes I use olive oil or MCT coconut oil. MCT coconut oil is easily absorbed, as well as, as olive oil, and sorry, it's going to take me a minute. The mixture is still very hot. Now, after boiling the roots you can boil them anywhere for 24 to 48 hours, as you saw me do in a crock pot. And then it's very simple. You just strain out the roots, and normally I would let this cool. Ooh, it's very hot. And then put it in the freezer so that the water portion freezes and the oil gets separated on top. Any questions? Yeah, so I started off the boil yesterday by boiling the roots in water you can boil them up to about 4 hours just in the water, and then you add your oil and boil that for 24 to 48 hours and then separate it. And I'll let you guys smell it. It gets kind of a funky sock smell. So I recommend that you boil it outside under the porch or something like that, because it really can smell up your house. Sorry? Do I need the water? Well, the reason that you boil the roots with water is that you can plump up the roots so that they're not so dry. And secondly is that if you just boil them in the pot, first the oil will get hotter and hotter and it could ignite, and it will also spoil the rest of your resulting product, because you're boiling it at too high a temperature. The water will always keep it at 212 Fahrenheit. Yes.
Hey guys, we really need to do the questions. Sorry, we have got mic runners because otherwise it's just a big blank thing and Sita can't hear you anyway, so go ahead now.
Yeah, just curious, what are the applications you're using both the water and the oil for after you've boiled it out?
So I haven't used the water for anything yet. I just recently came across that little bit that I read that you could boil down the water into a sticky substance. I have done it with the leaves. I've boiled the leaves in water until there's nothing but a sticky substance, and it's really good for skin issues. It burns though. You have to be careful. Can't put it on too much, because it will burn a hole in your skin. So this oil is very gentle, but it's very powerful. I've used it myself on a burn. It took 2 applications to completely stop the pain. There was still redness on my arm where I burnt myself, and the next day there was no pain at all and no redness, and a few days later the skin just flaked off. I've only been experimenting with the root for maybe 2.5 years.
So primary, what you're saying, primary for burns?
Burns, bruises, cuts, scrapes. And I advocate to only use it topically because of the unknown glucosides that may affect people who have liver issues, and also some of them are irritating to the mucous membranes.
Thanks for sharing that.
My husband works in an industry where he gets randomly drug tested every week. Is there any way that any of the compounds can travel into his blood system and show in a drug test?
So I did test the roots, and I have the tests right here. They show they're absolute zero. There's no. And right next to it, I'll leave it up here, right next to it is a sample of another strain that I tested, and there's no THC, no CBD, and no CBN in it at all. So that would be a good way if your husband has arthritis or any kind of pain issues, back pain, to make this and apply it. And there's, according to what the labs in Canada have shown me, there is no THC in it.
I've asked all the questions I wanted to. I was just wondering, do you boil it for 4 hours, or you bring it to the boil and then simmer it for the 24 to 48 hours?
Yes, you bring it to the boil in water for 4 hours approximately to plump up the roots, and then you boil it. Then you add the oil, and you boil it for anywhere from 24. I like doing it 48 hours. I find that I get a better extraction. You have to also be sure to keep adding water because the water does evaporate.